comments.
I only know him from Legally Blonde. He's Dorky Dave and Legally Blonde. So, hello everyone. Welcome to the Calvin Cam. We are back. It is October 19th, and this is our 31 Days of Halloween. We are going to be talking about another movie that came out this year. This is a very, very big talked about movie from Neon Films called Longlegs. Longlegs is a crazy ride. It's definitely got some things to talk about for sure. But one of the biggest takeaways is its two leading actors, Micah Monroe and Nicolas Cage. I think that, holy moly, these two actors definitely know how to act their hearts out. I mean, we know Nicolas Cage forever.
Yeah.
But before I get too far into this episode, I just want to remind everyone, go hit that like and subscribe button down below. Help us out. Or go over to patreon.com/CalvinCam. Join one of our 3 tiers over there. Become a part of our community. Let's get into talking about Longlegs. Now, when this movie first was announced, it had a really great marketing. I think that it released some teaser trailers to it, or some teaser screenshots to it as well. And it was very ominous, very, very, what is this movie? What is, the presentation of the teasers were so gripping and so intriguing that it was like, oh, I have to know what this is. And then, eventually this movie comes out and people are really loving it or really hating it. I know several people who have given this movie like 2 stars. I've known several people who've given this movie 5 stars. I think that, where my review falls in it, I'll tell you at the end of the episode. But I think that this movie is definitely, I need to rewatch it. Let me say that. Let me say that. It's definitely an interesting film. This is a first time watch for me and for Anthony. Nicolas Cage. Let's start there.
Nicolas Cage is awesome in this movie. You see him in the beginning. We see him and we see Micah's character. Gosh. She's a little girl and she comes outside because she sees a car through her window or something. She's drawing, I think, upstairs in her room. Mm-hmm. And she sees this man and she starts talking to him, and you get this little thing, and he's just crazy the whole time.
It's very, very eerie and very,
but it kind of
creepy.
This interaction in the very beginning kind of is part of the plot at the end. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of confusing, as Calvin would say.
This movie goes through a lot of different changes in storytelling, because it really jumps around a lot, and that's the part that didn't sit well with me watching this movie, is because it does kind of hop all over the place. And there are some pretty straight cuts during the transitioning scenes to giving you information and bringing you back to what's going on. But that being said, that's why I said earlier, this is definitely a movie I got to rewatch, because maybe I'm just interpreting that wrong. Maybe it's meant to interpret that. Maybe you're supposed to interpret that a different way. So with most films, especially a film like this, it's worth going over again. But that's my key issue with this movie.
Yeah, I could see that being an issue, but I think that's just the way they want to. I guess Osgood Perkins, which is Anthony Perkins' son. This is, I think, his directorial debut. I mean, if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments.
I only know him from Legally Blonde. He's Dorky Dave and Legally Blonde. So
I think just the way he presents it is kind of I think that it's kind of part of his plot twist. I don't know. That's just my assumption. I'm thinking the way you see this happening and how the hops everywhere. I do really like how this movie is shot.
Oh my God,
it's very well shot. You have these perspectives of Mika's character, then there's a lot of shots of her doing her casework, and it's just her, and it's just like she's just elegantly shot in like all these shots.
It's
like
definitely
it's throughout the
beautiful.
entire part of the whole movie, this presentation of her.
And I love on top of that with the shots, like a lot of the shots with the characters, they're center framed.
Yeah.
And like it creates a very eerie, interesting atmosphere to the movie and the presentation. So I really that's something I really enjoyed. And I also feel like this movie, although it like looks so crisp, at the same time it feels so old. And I think that they did a good job with the setting of this film to make it actually feel that way, because it's definitely like, it's not old. It's not like in an old time. It's
no,
just
I think it's in the mid 90s, because the administration's under Bill Clinton. Do you see Bill Clinton on the wall in the CIA or in the is it the FBI office?
FBI office, yeah. Now that you said that, I remember it. But yeah, I think that is interesting. Another thing that I didn't like also was you kind of get this sense that she has like psychic powers of sorts, and they never like come back to that really, like throughout the, like you get a little bit at the end, but like don't really get a whole lot onto that.
Yeah. So. I can see where you have that, but there's also the whole thing with Longlegs. And can we talk about the plot a little bit?
Oh yeah. We're full spoilers right now. So
there's just so many things that, like you said earlier, how you'd have to definitely rewatch this movie to kind of tie things together, kind of like, tie the knot to get things together. There's just references of her like with the doll, and she's like a conduit, and she's like a devil's servant. I think she makes a pact, like as soon as her daughter has an interaction with Longlegs, says, "I'm going to kill your daughter if you don't do this."
Yeah,
and he was like a doll maker, and he made these dolls which were like conduits, like evil conduits. Yeah. So you have all this presentation, and you see it, but you don't really make that connection. I mean, you kind of do when her mom, Longlegs sends her like a birthday card saying happy birthday, and then her mom calls her like right afterwards in that one scene. You have just like all these just different just jumps to the story. Like that's where it is.
And then you see like the portrayal of the goat, the devil, like throughout the film in the background, and a lot of shots, which is really done really well. It's very creepy, but it also is just like, is this out of place or should this be here? Like, and again, like it needs the rewatch. So
yeah, I mean, you see her partner get like shot. She like knew exactly what house to go to, and he gets shot in the beginning. Like there's all that, and like, how did that happen?
Yeah. So I think that's definitely, these are the things. It's like a semi-con, I guess. But like, all in all, like this movie is really, on a cinematic level, this movie is really beautiful and really gorgeous. Great sound design, really great acting. And that's kind of what like holds this movie up, is all of those aspects of it. But like in terms of the story it's there, but I just need to dissect it. It's one of those ones that just like, maybe I'm not seeing it properly. But that's not taking away my experience with this film, because I did enjoy watching this film. I did enjoy and have a good time from start to finish, because I was very intrigued the whole time. And that is a good thing. Also, Nicolas Cage's character, I did not expect him. I expected more out of him. Just because he dies pretty midway film.
He dies in the interrogation table.
Yeah, and I was just like, damn, like that's it? Like that's all? Because I wanted more. And a lot of the reference that I got a lot in this movie were a lot of people who reviewed this film constantly spread the word that this is like the modern day Silence of the Lambs. And I was like, how could it be like that? Like, it couldn't be that good. Like, and watching it, I was like, no, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. Like, I get where they're coming from because of the whole, like, FBI investigating, like, murders. I get that part of the connection. But this is really like that movie is a horror thriller masterpiece. Like this movie is not that. It's good. It's just not that. So, Longlegs, I think that it's definitely deserves your time. But like I said, you're gonna have to watch it at least 2 times at least. So, that being said, like I really, my experience with this film was good. I'm gonna give it a 3. I think that it's above a halfway mark on a scale, but it's not up to par with like there's so many better movies. So, that's what I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it 3. I think sound design's good. I think the pacing is just what hurts it, and I think that's kind of just because it jumps so much. But the acting is brilliant. The cinematography is brilliant. The sound design's brilliant. Like, it's just there's something missing here. You know what I mean? So 3 out of 5.
I'm gonna give the movie I'll give it a 3.5, and only because I don't want to sit on the same terms, of course, all the time, which we have for half of these episodes.
If you have to, you have to. I mean, we agree with each other a lot. So.
I'm not going to reiterate my words. I agree with Calvin with the pacing and story. That's what really hurts this movie. But I like Nick Cage and Mika Moreau in this movie. I like. She's awesome in this movie. I mean, I finally found out how good of actress she is by watching It Follows. It Follows is another movie we covered way back last year. So I like her. I like Nick Cage. And I guess that would be the widespread reason why I would give it a 3.5, because the acting was good.
I think the acting is like, it really holds this movie up. Like, it's very strong. And I like there are certain actions in this movie that are really great too. Like I love the investigation into the case is really cool. Like especially when she starts figuring things out and decoding things, and like I'm like all for this. But there's things that I didn't see or are just missing. So that's where I sit.
It definitely considers a rewatch.
But I definitely recommend it at the same time. Like, even though I'm like not 100% sold on this, like I think that it's worth watching because, like I said, this has jumped from people giving it 2 stars to people giving it 5 stars. I'm sitting somewhere in the middle until I like really watch it again, and like then I'll give my final review, I guess, on it, which maybe I'll post in the Patreon if you actually come to become a Patreon member. So
yeah, I mean, this movie it's up there with really good movies for this year with horror movies. I mean, we have the ones we've covered in the 31 days with this one and Late Night with the Devil and Oddity. I mean, they're good movies.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that those are a little better, but this is still a good movie.
All right, everyone. So that's going to be it for this episode. We're going to do fun facts and then we'll close it out. Many of Longlegs' encrypted messages contain misspellings and poor grammar after being decoded. This is an homage to the Zodiac Killer, who was also known for his coded messages containing typos, which often made it more difficult to decode his message.
I can see that reference.
Despite the praise and acclaim of the portrayal as Longlegs, Nicolas Cage has stated this will be his first and only portrayal of a serial killer for film. In an interview with IndieWire, Cage said, "I know that the phone's going to be ringing off the hook to play serial killers after Longlegs, and that's not really what I like to do. I don't like violence. I don't want to play people who are hurting people." And I'm like, Nicolas Cage, you've played so many people that hurt people. I mean, but I think that he means in a more like menacing, realistic way. That's my guess. So
okay,
that's my takeaway from that fun fact. To promote the film, Neon created a phone number 458-666-4355, which, if dialed, played a pre-recorded, extremely disturbing message from Nicolas Cage as the killer. Oh my God. Should I call it? Let's see. I'm going to call it.
Do you dare?
Let's see.
Oh, no.
There she is. And what's your name? Little angel? Nice to meet you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh man, that's Longlegs. Like, just like the character. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty amazing. I love
He
that.
mustered up the courage to call that number.
Let's see. Oz Perkins thought of only 2 actors to play Longlegs, Nicolas Cage or Brad Pitt. The movie had a budget of less than $10 million, which is what it made on opening day. So definitely successful. Nicolas Cage and Osgood Perkins made the movie as a tribute to their mothers. I gotta look into the history behind that. So, writer-director Osgood Perkins is the son of Anthony Perkins, as we know. The actor who was best known for playing Norman Bates in Psycho, as well as its 3 sequels. Let's see. This was the highest grossing live action Nicolas Cage movie since Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance in 2011. Yeah, Nicolas Cage, come on. Show the love for Nicolas Cage. He's made so many great movies. He never says no. Like it's
yeah. I mean, I'm still keen to him in Raising Arizona. That's like my favorite movie of his. I don't know why, but
I love him in so many.
Yeah, there's so many movies like Con Air,
National Treasure, The Family Man,
The
Rock, Face Off, like Knowing. There's a lot of. I mean, he's done so.
Lord
many
of
movies.
War.
Lord of
Just
War.
another one that
Dude,
just popped in my head.
It's just like pick a hat, any hat. Test audience described the film as having imagery very similar to films like Silence of the Lambs, Zodiac, and Seven. So that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, people were comparing it more to Silence of the Lambs than anything, but whatever.
I think it's its own thing. Honestly.
I see the connection,
but I see the connection like you're saying.
But that's gonna be it for our fun facts for this film. Thanks so much for watching our show. Again, we thank you so much for sticking around. Hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll catch you tomorrow.
See you on the next episode.